literally means nothing to me.
Completely goddamn disrespecting me, little idiots! Idiots!
I've contained my rage for as long as possible, but I shall unleash my fury upon you like the crashing of 1,000 waves!
The show to work, and everybody be like, why does it flood all of you? Because I had to slit the guy's throat who caused us all in traffic!
I'm calm, man. I'm cool as a cucumber. It's all good. It's all good. I'm talking to myself, but that's just because I got shit to say, you know?
Because I hate you! You're all gonna pay the ultimate price! Look at me when you're talking to me!
Oh, shit. The stakes are here.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. Because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping. And
Welcome back into The Door Report, episode 273 on a rainy summer evening, June 26th, 2024. I am Will Byrum, joined as always by my co-host, Trevor Hulan, known in the Twitterverse as Hacksquat Jim Duggan. He's had some smut, some shit talk thrown up on his name this week.
Yeah.
Not your government name.
No, not my government name.
But your Twitter, it's not a character, persona,
Twitter,
persona, maybe is what we should call it.
My other personality.
Yeah.
My other person. I have two personalities.
Currently being attacked aggressively by a very angry fan base. You talk shit, you're a man, you stand up and say, I talk shit.
Yeah.
And you're getting shit talked back to you now.
Dude, that's the fun of it.
If you give it, you got to take it.
Yeah, dude, if you give it and you don't take it, you're a sucker. Like, honestly, we'll get into this. That's probably my most annoying person is somebody that dishes it but doesn't take it. Whenever somebody does that, it bothers me. Like, it irks me. It makes me angry. I'm like, dude, be a man.
Obviously, and we'll get into this in segment one, like 90% of the Vault fan base just hates your guts. However, there is a 10% as of right now that they kind of get it, and they're not on your side. They're still talking in your mentions consistently.
Yeah, and I'm not on their side.
But they just give it back, and you can see they're warming up.
Yeah.
You can see a little bit of warmth in their heart towards whole Hacksquat.
It is truly game, respect game. And I've said this on Twitter before. Thousands of Vol fans have interacted with me. Most of them eventually come to the realization of, oh, wow, he's actually a really nice guy.
Nice guy, or they're just like, this guy's unbreakable.
Yeah,
one of the two.
Yeah, there's nothing you can say to me on the internet that is going to break me. There's just nothing.
They love attacking you for everything possible. They really love the insult of never having the touch of a woman
and fat
and living in your parents' basement
and fat.
They love calling you fat.
They love all three.
Yeah, they love that one.
I would probably say
your back hair was also a big problem.
The back hair was a problem. I'd probably say number one is fat. Number two is not. Number two is never feeling the touch of a woman. And then three. I guess three is. People are like, ooh, you're a Vanderbilt fan. Who cares? That's probably number three. The back hair. I did tweet a photo whenever I gave a mullet update. And of course, I have back hair. I have insane back hair. I have insane chest hair. Do I shave it? No. Do I also care? No. I'm a grown man. That got a lot of play. A lot of people wanted to attack my back hair.
The back hair thing, you did bring that upon yourself. A little bit.
Oh, it's fine. Don't bother me. I'll tweet out a whole photo of my back right now, dude. Don't bother me. I'll let you see the whole picture.
That would get the Twitterverse up in arms. That would overtake the Huck to a girl. That would overtake everything possible. But I forgot to mention it after all this fun talk. Forgot to mention it. The Door Report is presented by 615 Collectibles. What an intro. If you are into sports cards or sports memorabilia of any kind, check out 615 Collectibles on eBay. you said it a couple episodes ago that I needed to find the link and like read out the link on how they can directly reach it. The link I found is just nonsense letters after ebay.com.
Just a crazy like HTTP.
So just go to the search bar, type in 615 collectibles, and it's a black and white logo that just spells that out. Shipping is always fast and free. We touched on it a little bit. We're going to talk about what happened in the College World Series.
Yeah.
A Vols victory.
My personal 9/11.
A tough day. A tough day for Trevor specifically, but a tough day overall for the college baseball community. I don't know. We're just going. I can't say the words congratulations.
I can't. I will never say it.
It's physically impossible. So
I don't
I'm
know
just
what
dancing
that one,
around it.
Did you see that one Vandy Twitter account? I forget who it was, but they were asked, they're like, how should I congratulate my Vol friend? No. What are you thinking? Why would you? I don't care if your mother's a Vols fan. Why would you congratulate them? That's insane to me.
It's been tough decisions from like close friends, like guys I was in their wedding for, that went to Omaha and were there and posted pictures of themselves in Omaha on Instagram. It's like, should I like this? Should I not? I broke. I liked the photos. But it took me a lot of debate. I went back and forth. I was like, should I like it?
Oh, no. See, my best friend.
No congratulations.
My best friend since the 4th grade is a diehard Vol fan. I was the best man in his wedding. I literally texted him, I hope they break your heart in a million ways. He goes, you can't be happy for me for once. So, like, now when it comes to Tennessee, no. Whenever he had his kid, I was more excited than his wife, probably. But whenever it comes to Tennessee, I hope they break your heart 1,000 ways to one, brother.
Well, we'll hit on that a little bit more in segment 1. We're also going to talk about, and I don't know if we're really going to have any new opinions. I feel like the opinions have been formed, but the Jim Schlossnagle situation.
A crazy saga.
It's just crazy. So I'm going to read some quotes, and we just have to ramble on about that because Vanderbilt fans, in relatively recent memory, have had a similar experience with a man named James Franklin.
Yeah, Jimmy Frank.
So I think there is a little bit of crossover, and maybe Vanderbilt fans can sympathize with what Texas A&M is going through just a little bit. We also have a little bit of a baseball staff update. Touch on that briefly. A couple portal commits or a few portal commits for Vanderbilt baseball. And then, Trevor, we have the closer to this episode. Me and Trevor, I don't think we've done this before. This is not a question that's been asked. We've been asked top 5 movies, but me and Trevor are going to list off our top 5 sports movies.
Yeah, strictly sports
of all time. And then we're going to ask you guys to tweet at us or comment on the YouTube channel with your 5 favorite sports movies. Because I really thought this was going to be a lot easier than it was. In my brain, there are not a lot of good sports movies, like actually quality good ones. There was a big log jam in my top 5. So it was a real struggle for me. I think it was for you too. No, you said you got yours pretty quick.
As soon as we thought about this, like I had my top 5.
Okay. So Trevor knew his quickly. I agonized over my list. So we'll see where everybody lines up. Me and Trevor did not share our lists before this.
We did not know. We do not know what our top 5s are. I wanted to know. I was trying to pressure Will before. I was like, dude, come on, at least tell me your number 5. He's like, I won't do it.
Need a real reaction here. But before we get into all that and much more, don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Door Report. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Our podcast is available on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and Google Podcasts. And while you're at it, give our podcast 5 stars and a review on iTunes and comment on that YouTube channel. We do read all the comments, good or bad. So just interact with us on YouTube because the YouTube numbers, maybe we're just ugly. Maybe the Vol fans are right. YouTube
maybe
is not,
I am fat.
YouTube is not correlating with our actual like audio listenership at all. So many more people are still listening to just audio. So maybe it's once we get moved into the new spot, maybe we can upgrade our studio setup and that can improve it. Add in some graphics.
I do have a theory though that I think might play into that. I think partially it could be us. I also think that YouTube is just a dying service.
I like YouTube though.
I think TikTok is going to be the end of YouTube. I really do.
Because of brain rot, or how long can I don't
know, but there has been I read I think it wasn't Business Insider, it might have been Mashable, that said since the introduction of TikTok, YouTube's users have just plummeted. Same with Twitch, the whole live streaming thing. People love to watch stuff on Twitch now because YouTube's, for the longest time, their biggest community was video games. People go on there and watch other people play video games. Now you just do it on Twitch, and it's killing them.
Well, and
so
also
it might be more
Twitter
Twitch.
has implemented
Twitter
long video as well. So that's also changed. So all these other platforms that YouTube used to have a monopoly on, but that has nothing to do with us. We're not on any of those.
No.
It's just YouTube. So we will be right back to start segment 1 after a long intro. Thought it would be a quickie, but it has not been. So coming up, segment 1.
Пуляевская. А как и без твоих трусиков такой же пустой, как и эта банка, по-любому.
Welcome back in to segment 1 of episode 273 of The Door Report. I went back and listened to the beginning of the last episode. So that was 2 weeks ago on the dot. And we said that dog days were here. We said, and I even said dog days are officially here. I was a little bit sad because Vanderbilt had been knocked out of the Clemson Regional. Dog days are actually here now.
Yeah.
Prior to the last episode, we still had the end of the NBA Finals. I'm pretty sure, if I'm correct. That had not happened
you
yet.
were watching the finals, yeah.
And we still had the remainder of the College World Series. So the dog days are actually here now. There are no quality sports until August 24th. Is that week 0? Until the end of August.
Yeah.
No sports except MLB.
And I think it is the 24th because Vandy's the 31st.
Yeah. MLB, regular season baseball.
Yeah. Well, you do have the All-Star game coming up soon.
Don't care.
Oh, see, I love All-Star weekend.
If there is one, truly, if there was one sport I care the least about, it's the MLB. Of all of them. I even care a little bit more about the NHL.
What?
But only because I'm a bandwagon Predators.
I don't care anything about hockey. I really don't.
I don't watch any of it.
Like whenever the few years ago, whenever the Preds made the Stanley Cup, I did not care.
I'm a bandwagon Preds.
I will say I watched it, but I was like, whenever they lost, I was like, man, I don't care. And if they won it, I would have been like, I don't care.
It's the one team that really all of my buddies, regardless of who their NFL team is, regardless of who their college team is, regardless of their NBA team, and there's not really that many diehard buddies that I have that are NBA fans. It's the one sport that kind of everybody in the state is just like, yeah, we'll be fans of the Predators.
Yeah,
because there's no history of hockey in Tennessee.
Very new.
So everybody, there are diehards, but most people are just kind of bandwagons that are like, if the Preds are good, I'll hop on it. The games are fun to go to. There's no diehard tradition where everybody's in their little camps.
Yeah.
Even like how NFL is, because there are a lot of Titans fans in Tennessee, but you're a different example. But there's still a lot of holdovers where their dads were a fan of another team and they carried it down. My buddy Brett's a Bengals fan. He cheers for the Titans, but he's a Bengals fan.
You got to think too, before the Titans came, the Bengals were technically a local team.
Kind of.
Them and the Falcons, those are the two closest NFL teams to Nashville.
Yeah, that is true. I'm thinking it through. A lot of people, it was kind of similar to the Celtics-Lakers rivalry. Before
a lot of Steelers fans down here too. Have you noticed?
Yeah, a lot of Steelers just have a fan base.
They have that is true. They have a huge. Them the Cowboys.
A lot of Cowboys fans.
My dad, unfortunately, Justin Kemp too. So
my dad was a Cowboys fan as well.
That's disgusting.
That was just because it was always nationally broadcast.
Yeah,
that's just how it was the only thing you could watch.
That's everybody asks like, how did your dad become a Cowboys fan? So my dad was born in 1959, and growing up, I forget if he said if he listened on the radio or if he could get a TV signal, but the only two options that he had every weekend was either the Steelers or the Cowboys. Those are the only two teams he had access to. And so he just listened to the Cowboys more. And so in the 70s, he became a Cowboys fan.
I do want to make sure I get this out there. My dad grew up a Cowboys fan, but he is a diehard Titans fan now. So he converted over. I don't want to throw any lies upon his name. But we are in the dog days. Went a little bit of a rant there.
We're going to do a lot of these over the summer.
Yeah, the summer we're doing our best. A lot to get out with this. You know, it's a good thing we switched over to every 2 weeks because there's not a ton to talk about. But a lot of topics get pent up. In these 2 week windows.
Also, just with my schedule right now, if we did it every week, dude, I think I would crumble. Like I think it would break me.
This is going to be a long episode, but
Yeah.
you were up until almost 5 a.m. last night. You're running on fumes right now.
Yeah, up
These
until
summer
about,
classes.
Up until about then. So my schedule yesterday was I woke up at about 6:45. I started work at 7. I worked from 7 to 3:30. Left here at 3:30. Got to school at like 3:50. Had school from like 4 to 8:15. Came home and did homework from 9 to like 4 in the morning. And then I went to bed at like 4:30 and woke up at 6:45.
Did it all again.
And then work from 7 to 3:30 and then school from 4 to 7:30.
You should do like a Tony P day in the life style video of you like get up,
Dude.
like set up a camera, rub the sand out of your eyes, get up, just log on, sit on there, listen to Teams ding for 8 straight hours. Just shut the laptop, pack up your bag, sit in a class for 4 hours, come back, stare at Excel spreadsheets, and well, actually, you're doing like full stats,
Yeah.
like full huge data set stats.
I'm working in a stats program, running that code and that data, getting my results, and then transferring it over to Excel because the American Psychological Association wants all your statistics published in Excel formats. So
Excel runs the world. As I have said,
it makes me
a lot of times.
It makes me. They are so specific. The APA 7th edition says, whenever you publish statistics, they have to be in Excel format. There can be no grid lines. There can be no vertical lines. There can be no color. Everything has to be in black and white, and it drives me insane.
I came back from trivia and then a date, and it was like 11 or so, and Trevor was working. Trevor was working away. I always try to come in and interrupt him, and he was dialed in.
I was just killing Zins, dude. I was killing nicotine.
Went into my room, watched some TV, fell asleep, woke up about 2 a.m. Was like, need a bottle of water. Walked out to the kitchen. Trevor's still up, still listening to YouTube videos about Excel data statistics and data modeling.
Pivot tables.
Still just slaving away. This time when I walked out, just shirtless.
Just
an animal.
Shirtless in my underwear.
Hunched over.
I got so mad, I just took all my clothes off.
As Phoebe appears, Phoebe just staring into the abyss. Like, what is going on? What has happened to my sweet father? But
he's breaking down.
A day in the life of Hacksquat might feed nations.
I put in a Zen before I even brush my teeth.
Just Zen, just have cuts after everything. Zen.
Another coffee.
But the dog days are here. We gotta talk about it. Talked about it in the intro. Tennessee baseball are the 2024 college baseball national champions. First national championship in program history. What Tony Vitello has done there, I despise them. I despise Tennessee, hate Orange. What Tony Vitello has done there is nothing short of incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I hate them, but in that aspect, you do have to give it to him. What he's done is amazing.
Not just, obviously what he's done on the field is incredible, but from a fan base that was completely apathetic towards baseball. And a lot of it's hand in hand, because this is a perfect example, actually, of winning cures all.
Yeah.
Of just get a good team, worry about everything else later.
Mm-hmm.
Win, and the fans will come. Tennessee is kind of a great example of that.
Yeah.
Is there could not have been an SEC fan base that cared less about baseball until Tony Vitello came in, and all of a sudden they're packing Omaha, raucous. Everybody cares about it. Everybody loves it. Tennessee won the series against Texas A&M in 3 games. Game 1, Texas A&M won 9-5, and then Tennessee went on to win the next 2, 4-1 in Game 2, and 6-5 in Game 3. How much do you want to talk about this? This is pretty much your show. I had already accepted after they beat Florida State, and that was ruled that he didn't go. That
Terrible call.
He didn't break his front hip, which he did.
But 100%.
Once that happened, I fully had already accepted they were going to win the championship. So you won't see a lot of shit talking tweets from me after that, because I had just already accepted it in my heart of hearts, as much as it pained me. Tennessee was the best team the entire season. They were the best team in the SEC tournament, and they were the best team through the college baseball NCAA tournament. It pains me to say that, but it is true. And you brought the wrath of all Twitter upon yourself. However, you are the definition of that meme, or whatever you want to call it, of the soldier standing in front of the children with the knives going into his back, just saying what all Vanderbilt fans want to say. Hacksquat Jim Duggan, the Dark Knight, the protector.
Dude, I am the bullet sponge for Vandy athletics. Whenever I die, I want my obituary to read, he died loving Vandy athletics. And he died defending this fan base. A fan base at a school. No, I take it back. A school that does not defend him ever. That has given him nothing. And he gave them everything.
That might be a good tombstone. He gave them everything. They gave him nothing. Thank you, Vanderbilt, for everything. He's also you're also the reason he died of a heart attack at 52 years old.
Dude,
thank you, Vanderbilt.
I think the other night, I legitimately think I had a heart attack. My left arm went numb and everything.
You did tell me about this.
Dude, I was tripping. I'm like, am I having a heart attack?
It's probably your 15 Zens and iced coffee a day.
And then it stopped. I was like, okay, I think I'm fine.
Yeah, you're fine. No reason.
Don't let Balls fan get a hold of that clip.
Yeah.
Brother at 27 having a heart attack.
Yeah, they'll really start the fat attacks. You had a fat attack is what they'll
My
start saying.
cholesterol is building up, brother.
But Tennessee was the best team all year. There were jokes kind of flying around about Tony Vitello taking the Texas job.
I wanted him to take it so bad. Dude, I would have given anything.
But that is not the man that took the Texas Longhorn baseball head coaching position, the loser of the College World Series, Jim Schlossnagle. I have watched a lot of videos. I've heard it pronounced Schlossnagle. Tough name. But the quote from him post-loss, obviously tough time for Schlossnagle and the Texas A&M program right after losing kind of a heartbreaking series where you won game one. I didn't have a lot of faith in him in game 2 or 3, but lost 6-5 in game 3. Gets asked a relatively, I don't want to say easy, but not a mean-hearted question.
No, it was kind of a softball.
Yeah, it
honestly.
wasn't posed in some crazy disrespectful way
No.
or anything. I listened to the full press conference, at least the beginning of it, and it was actually from Tex Ag's reporter Richard Zane. I hope I'm getting that name right.
Yeah, he should apologize to that guy, honestly. Like, publicly or through an email, like, he needs to apologize to that reporter for the way he talked to him.
So I have the quote written down. I have the question written down as well, but Tex Ag's reporter Richard Zane asked, rumors are swirling about a specific job opening. What do you have to say about your future in Aggie land? And obviously that specific job opening was the Texas head coaching position. Schlossnagle came back and said, I think it's pretty selfish of you to ask me that question, to be honest with you. But I left my family to be the coach at Texas A&M. I took the job at Texas A&M to never take another job again, and that hasn't changed in my mind. That's unfair to talk about something like that. That would be like asking Braden Montgomery if he's going to sign in the draft. But I understand you've got to ask that question, but I gave up a big part of my life to come take this job. And I poured every ounce of my soul into this job, and I've given this job every ounce I could possibly give it. Write that. Selfish. A selfish question from a reporter that covers the current school that you were coaching at, asking about rumors swirling that you were going to take another job. And you straight up say that I took the Texas A&M job to never take another job again.
Yeah. That's a tough look for him. Tough look.
Obviously, he went on to take the job. And at his Texas press conference today, he was kind of asked if he misled, Aggie fans. And he responded, I didn't intentionally mislead them. In that moment, that's exactly how I felt.
That's a bold-faced lie, brother. You knew you were going to Texas.
That's my bullshit detector.
Yeah.
If you believe,
Smells strong.
And there are the quotes from him, and I don't have these written down, but are that there was no communication about this job prior to the end of the season,
Total
that
lie.
none of this had been discussed, none of this was thought about. That's how he felt as he was staying in Aggie. And then magically the next day, he's changing jobs and coaching at their school's biggest rival.
I think
the
it
next day.
legitimately might have been less than 12 hours.
There was a tweet that was put out. I talked to you about it before the podcast, but it said, if you believe that he had not discussed this job prior to the end of the season and that he didn't know in his mind after that loss that he was leaving for Texas, then I have a lot of bridges to sell you. And I think there's no way. It reminds me of, it's how he answered the question.
Yeah.
If he would have just said, this is not the appropriate time, we need to be focused on the guys that were out on that field. That's what really matters. This loss, I can coach until I decide to retire, until I decide to die.
Yeah.
Or until the Lord takes me. But these kids only have 4 years, and some of these seniors out here are never going to put on the Aggie uniform again. We need to be focused on them. That would have been one way to do it.
Yeah.
But it's the immediate denying of it and then immediately backtracking. It reminds me of a certain coach that Vanderbilt had in football named James Franklin.
I'll never forget that January 4th interview after the the Liberty Bowl. No, sorry, the Birmingham Bowl. Oh my God, it was in Birmingham against Houston. Compass Bowl, the Compass Bowl. I'll never forget leaving the Compass Bowl, leaving Legion Field with my father, hopping in his car, immediately turning on the press conference and hearing somebody ask James Franklin that question and him saying something along the lines of, I'm a Commodore, anchor down, and thinking he's not going to Penn State.
I haven't been able to find it, okay? But I vividly remember having it recorded on my parents' old DVR when they used to have Xfinity/cable back in the good old days. And it was, I think, before the Georgia game, actually, the year before Franklin left. And he was asked kind of a question about rumors swirling about if he would be leaving or what.
Yeah, because NC State wanted him bad.
And he had a quote that he specifically said, I want to be buried underneath this field. And that is when, and it's fine. It's the nature of the industry, nature of the field, nature of the beast. But that's when I was like, I'm never taking another word that a coach says at any value.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it bothers people. It's just bold-faced lying and then just not copping to it. Just not being like, what I said, I did mislead a little bit. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do. That's not what he said. He said, I did not intentionally mislead them, just deflecting blame. If he would have had a different quote, the reaction from the A&M fan base still would have been toxic, but the national media and other fan bases would not have turned on him in the same way.
No.
I don't really have anything else on that. I think it's pretty apparent that was a real piece of shit move.
I mean, it screams James Franklin. Hold on. Sorry. Phoebe's getting in the fireplace.
Phoebe! Meowed back.
Sorry, guys. If that was loud, I apologize.
She gets in the stupid fireplace we don't even use at this apartment.
Everywhere.
Now she's going to get in the fake plant in the corner.
She's going to hide in the plant.
But let's hit on this real quick, and then we'll go to the TDR cocktail break before we do the top 5 sports movies, because I think that'll have a little bit of time and discussion and debate associated with it. Stop. Phoebe's lacking attention right now. You've been too focused on school. Now we're too focused on the podcast.
She's like, somebody pet me, please, or I'm going to be a little nuisance.
All right. Here we go. There was an update on the Vanderbilt baseball coaching staff. Ty Blankmeyer is its newest assistant coach. There's been a lot. There hasn't been a lot, but there's been quite a few moving pieces the last couple weeks. Ty Blankmeyer was formerly on the Wake Forest staff before he was an assistant / the recruiting coordinator at Duke baseball for the last 2 seasons. I don't know anything about him.
I know a lot of the baseball media really likes him. That's about all I know.
I've only seen positive reviews, so change right now for Vanderbilt baseball is good. There was another thing. I meant to add this in. I wish I would have had a note on the Schlossnagle thing. Also, the missing piece to this for me, I was watching some local news broadcasts from Texas. The current AD at Texas was his athletic director when he was at TCU prior to his job at Texas A&M.
Collusion.
That's another piece to this puzzle, is like how much lying can you do to a fan base? So I just had to throw that in there. But that's not related to Ty Blankmeyer. Good hire. Hope it works out. Man, I need that TDR cocktail break right now. A little bit of news on the baseball transfer portal front. Phoebe,
She's over there.
She's fine. Okay. I thought you were snapping at her for doing
No.
something. So Vanderbilt has had 3 commits out of the transfer portal in baseball, 2 pitchers, 1 outfielder. Connor Fennell.
I think it's Fennel.
Connor Fennell, a right-handed pitcher from Dayton. He's coming in as a sophomore. As a freshman last year at Dayton, 15 appearances, 4.74 ERA. A lot of time still left to develop him.
Yeah.
A good pickup. Also, I think I tweeted this one out from TDR as well. Joseph Zierwa. Is that right? Spelled DZIERWA.
I ain't got a clue.
Committed on the 17th of June. A 6'7" left-handed pitcher from Michigan State. Was second team All Big Ten last year. 4.07 ERA. 97 strikeouts to only 27 walks. Was third in WHIP last year in the Big Ten.
I love that whip
with a
statistic.
1.19. For those out there that don't follow baseball, WHIP is walks and hits per inning.
That's a very good whip.
Very good WHIP, third in the Big Ten. So another good pitching pickup. Obviously, Tim Corbin is emphasizing pitching depth.
Yeah.
Because that is something they horribly lacked this year.
Yeah. I will say this too. For those of you who aren't like diehard baseball fans and aren't really into the sabermetrics and the advanced analytics, I know that forever ERA has been such a big deal and it still holds a lot of value. If you were getting into baseball and trying to learn the statistics, WHIP is so much more important than ERA. It's such a better statistic whenever it comes to evaluating pitchers. So focus. I know that ERA might, you're like, 4 point, but it is college. Who cares? That is a great WHIP. That'll play.
Pitching depth, maybe potential starting pitching, actually, from Zero.
That's what I'm thinking. He might go into the starting rotation.
And
like
then
guy.
I'm sure what most Vanderbilt fans are actually concerned about, a batting pickup.
Yep.
An outfielder, Caleb Kropf from USC Upstate, an outfielder committed on June 18th. Last year out of the Big South, obviously a lower level of baseball than the SEC. So I'm not saying these are completely comparable stats, but last year he had 21 doubles and 20 home runs in 2024. Those stats should carry over at least a little bit, even when the competition increases in the SEC. Second team All Big South last year, but this is his final year of eligibility.
Yeah.
So a guy that has to make an immediate impact, but fans have been clamoring for more power. This is how you get it. Picking it up from smaller schools, guys that had big numbers, and Caleb Kropf fits that profile. So that's all the news in the transfer portal. Did I miss anybody? I think that's it.
I don't believe so, no.
Now it is time, Trevor, for a long overdue TDR cocktail break. So grab yourself a cold one, and we will be right back with our top 5 sports movies. Welcome back from the TDR cocktail break. We have upcoming me and Trevor's top 5 sports movie lists, and we're asking for everybody else's out there. So if you haven't tweeted at us yet or commented on the YouTube channel, comment, because we want to know your top 5 lists, because this is going to be a little controversial, I think. I think there's going to be some differences between me and Trevor's list.
I think so.
We're also going to have to have some honorable mentions at the end, because as I went through it, brutal list to make for me. Trevor breezed through it.
Yeah.
It was tough. Log jam at the 3 through 5 spots for me. I had like 12 movies that I was deciding between in my 3 through 5 spot.
Put this in there.
But we didn't mention it in segment 1. I want to give a shout out. Former Commodore Luke Cornett gets a championship ring with my Boston Celtics. The universe was not going to give me that Celtics championship for free. The Vols, that was also when I packed it, and I was like, I can only have so many good things.
Yeah.
If the Celtics win a championship, the Vols baseball team is probably going to win a championship.
Yep.
Came to fruition. So my sports year is doing just fine as of right now. I'm not complaining at all. Also, one thing on the football front, no new news. out of the football program outside of Diego Pavia's wearing number 2. That's about it. Football season tickets are sold out. I want to ask the question, and then we'll get to the top 5 list. You think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
I think opposing fans bottom up.
I think so too.
I think opposing fans bottom up. That's all I've got to say about it. I think Texas, Bama, Tennessee fans bottom up.
100%. It was tweeted out. We even tweeted it out from the Door Report. Hope you got your season tickets. We'll see you in lot 2.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a slight little bump because of the finished stadium renovations.
Yeah.
But I would say it's 98% bad that season tickets are sold out. I think it's going to be embarrassing. There are already so many tickets being listed for resale.
Dude, Vandy, there has to be something they can do about this, no?
I don't know how you fix that. They still get the money. You can't verify location or anything. All you can really do.
If the card you're paying with doesn't have a Middle Tennessee zip code, you shouldn't be allowed to buy tickets.
But then that's going to hurt certain people. Very few. But what they can do and what they have done is they probably limit the amount of tickets you can buy if you're outside of the area.
Yeah.
But if there's so many large fan bases coming with the reduced seating capacity due to the renovations, you're just going to have Texas for their first game in Nashville, first season in the SEC. I think that might be a major contributing factor.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's going to be similar to what Kentucky basketball fans did a lot, which they didn't just do it to Vanderbilt.
They did it to everybody.
They did it to everybody, but they would buy season tickets because buying season tickets was cheaper than buying the individual tickets when they came, and they would just sell the other ones.
Make their money back.
Yeah, make whatever money they could back. So I think that's what's happened. I'm not running a victory lap. I think attendance until Vanderbilt football starts winning is going to remain piss poor. I'm not a self-loathing Vanderbilt fan. We're just realistic.
Yeah.
And right now, you're coming off a 2-10 year. The average Nashville sports fan has no idea that Vanderbilt has a brand new offensive staff, brand new quarterback. Clark Lee's moved to defensive coordinator. That's not why ticket sales have increased. So logic leads you to believe that's not a good thing. That's about it on that. Trevor, time for the top 5 sports movies.
I'm ready.
You starting it out?
I'll go on my number 5. So we'll go 5-1.
5-1. Trevor's got his first, and then afterwards, I got to have some honorable mentions here. But Trevor, kick it off with number 5.
At number 5, the greatest basketball movie ever made. We're going with Hoosiers.
At 5.
At 5. My top 5 is, so my methodology for this is my top 5 is my favorite. Not what I think is objectively, like creatively, the best. I'm just going with my personal favorite. So at number 5, I'm going to go Hoosiers. I think it's the best basketball movie ever made.
I'll agree with you on that. I went kind of a mixture of what you're talking about. I thought of it from the perspective of somebody comes in and is like, I'm a sports fan, but I've never watched sports movies. Let me know the best sports movies to watch.
Yeah.
And that's how I ranked mine. Coming in at number 5 for me, I think the TV show was better, without a doubt. But at number 5, the best football movie ever made, Friday Night Lights.
Great pick. At number 5, very good pick.
With the caveat of there have not been a lot of good football movies made.
No.
But the best of that bunch. However, TV show is better. But the movie's still at number 5.
Yeah. Number 4. I feel bad now because one of your options that you wanted to include, I'm like, is that a sports movie though? I'm about to pull one of those. Ooh, never mind. I'm actually going to do a switch up.
You're changing your list you so easily made.
Yeah. Number 4, a classic. Ryan Gosling was a terrible cornerback, a liability in the secondary. I got to go Remember the Titans. At 4, you got to go Remember the Titans.
That was one that's going to be brought up in my honorable mentions.
What?
It's not in my top
Are
5.
you serious?
You just did a switch up.
It was higher, but I'm bringing it back.
You're bringing it down?
Yeah.
Friday Night Lights, it's literally number 6. That's
Whoa.
No, I was debating between Friday Night Lights and Remember the Titans. Those were my 2. I could not figure out which one to put at number 5.
Yeah, I got Remember the Titans at number 4.
Man, I wanted to include that one. This one, I don't think you're going to like. I actually don't know. I hate what this actually did to the sport and how the sport is evaluated, but the movie is so damn good. Also, maybe a little recency bias because I did just rewatch it again for like the third time. My number 4 is going to be Moneyball.
Dude, amazing movie.
Okay. I didn't know how you're going to feel because I'm not a big fan of like what it leaves out. A key part of that movie really leaves out that the A's never won anything.
Yeah.
And they do hit on it a little bit.
Yeah,
but it
Billy
didn't-
Beane went to Boston.
Yeah, it didn't fix baseball.
Yeah.
It didn't, like, it changed how baseball is viewed, but it worked, but it didn't really work.
Yeah.
Stars still win.
Mm-hmm.
They still didn't have the payroll. You still need a higher payroll. You can't just win based on creating in the aggregate.
Yeah.
So Moneyball's number 4. Hell of a movie. Anybody would enjoy that. Jonah Hill, Brad Pitt, incredible.
Yeah, I agree. My number 3. Not really much to say because you just hit on it. Moneyball.
Oh, really?
Moneyball is my number 3.
Okay. Didn't know if that was going to be in there.
Oh, dude, I love Moneyball.
So the movie that Trevor was talking about that's not necessarily sports related, this is not my number 3, but was Uncut Gems. Because is that a sports movie? Is it not? We were kind of debating that.
I'll give it to you.
No, but that's not my number 3.
Okay.
But it was close to being in my top 5. But it's sports related.
Yeah.
The reason I bring it up is my number 3 movie, I think, gets forgotten in the sports movies a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The Fighter with Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, and
Christian Bale.
No,
Christian
The
Bale
Fighter.
and Mark Wahlberg.
I don't think I've seen that.
Are you serious?
Is that UFC?
No, that's Warrior.
Yeah, that's Tom Hardy.
Yeah, that's not a great movie.
Oh, I love that
No,
movie.
it's fine.
Fighter. I don't think I've ever seen
The Fighter.
The
So
Fighter.
Christian Bale is kind of a drug addict in it, and Mark Wahlberg's his younger brother.
No, I've never seen this movie.
Yeah, you got to watch it. You'd like it.
Is it boxing?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Boxing movie. Yeah, you got to watch that. It's not extremely sport focused.
Yeah.
Like the crescendo of the movie is Mark Wahlberg's match, but the movie's really more like character story driven.
Yeah.
But number 3, The Fighter.
I'll need to add that to my list. We don't have the same movies, but in terms of like sport, I think we're lining up a lot because my number 2 is going to be Raging Bull.
Never seen it.
Raging Bull, Robert De Niro, Martin Scorsese, boxing movie, black and white. Probably, I love Rocky. I love the Rocky series. The Creed series stinks. I don't
Wrong.
like it at all. I don't
Wrong.
like Michael B. Jordan.
Wrong.
What?
Wrong.
Dude, they suck.
They don't.
They suck.
You just biased. You're racist. Michael B. Jordan is the man. I love Michael B.
I just don't think he's a good actor.
Wrong.
I don't think he's a good actor at all.
Fine. You're wrong.
But
fine.
the
I'm not even
original
mad.
Rocky
Do not
movies,
tweet that I'm mad. No one say that I'm mad.
the drill tweet. I think the Rocky series is one of the greatest ever. But for my number 2, I'm going to go Raging Bull. I'm not a big boxing fan. But the first time I saw Raging Bull, of course, Robert De Niro, directed by Martin Scorsese, that made me want to become a boxing fan. And that's just set in the heyday of boxing. Amazing movie. Amazing movie.
So my number 2 is your number 5, Hoosiers.
Respectable. I think it's the greatest basketball
the best
movie ever
basketball movie of all time. For a while on my list, it was number 1. I had my number 1 and number 2. This wasn't number 1 for a while, and I'll explain my reasoning why I bumped it down to number 2 and what my number 1 is. But my number 2 is Hoosiers. Gene Hackman, incredible,
Dude,
holds up.
What's your favorite scene from that movie?
I think you've talked about it before. It's when they crash into the glass.
Dude,
in the
yes, that's
trophy
my
case.
favorite. Yes, he's
Incredible.
all bloody.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's my favorite scene.
Or when what is his name? The shooter, but I can't remember the actor's name. Comes in drunk in the middle of the game and gets the technical.
Oh my gosh.
Or when he has to coach for him and he gets intentionally thrown out. That movie holds up. If you've
Yes.
never seen Hoosiers, go watch Hoosiers.
I
Incredible.
love that movie. My number 1.
Number 1.
My number 1 is probably going to get a lot of hate. I literally don't care. Angels in the Outfield. Angels in the Outfield is my favorite sports movie of all time. Probably my most watched movie of all time. I love Angels in the Outfield. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Danny Glover. Dude, you just gotta believe, dude.
It's good.
You just
Good
gotta
movie.
believe.
I can't believe that's your number 1.
His
That's a good
dirtbag
movie.
dad told him, "Hey, son, if the Angels win the pennant, I'll come and get you." Angels win the pennant. His dad and that stupid motorcycle are nowhere to be found. Sweet Danny Glover comes in, saves the day. Dude, hey, hit me with it. Dude, yeah. Amazing movie. I love Angels in the Outfield.
It's a crazy number one, but I got to respect it. It's a crazy number one to me.
That's going to get a lot of play.
You actually mentioned it when you were talking about your number two. My number one, really thinking about it, my parents would know this to be fact. My most watched movie and movie series of all time, Rocky, is my number one.
Amazing
and it's
pick.
really, once
Amazing
I
pick.
really sat there and thought about it, it's not even close for me.
Mm-hmm.
What it inspired with the whole series of them. Rocky Balboa, I think it was 2006. And then unlike you, I like the Creed.
I just don't
I think it
don't
carried
like
it
that
on
series.
well. You're wrong, but you're just wrong. As far as like literally in a canon of movies, that being the 7th, 8th, and 9th movies of a movie series and still being of that quality is crazy to me.
I love Rocky.
My number one is the original Rocky.
Oh, the
But
best.
all of them and what it inspired, my number one. One of, if not the only fictional character that has a statue built in its city.
Go Birds.
In Philadelphia.
Don't mess with the Rocky statue. Whenever you do, the Birds always win.
So let's run through the lists again before we close out episode 273. Well, we got to actually
honorable mention.
Yeah, we got to do honorable mention. So let's run through our lists again. So what was your list from 5 through 1?
So 5, I have Hoosiers. 4, Remember the Titans. 3, Moneyball. 2, Raging Bull. 1, Angels in the Outfield.
Okay, run through mine. 5, Friday Night Lights. 4, Moneyball. 3, The Fighter. 2, Hoosiers. 1, Rocky. Now we have to do honorable mentions. I have a bunch written down.
I have a lot of honorables.
So let's just go back and forth.
Okay. So and the reason, so this is probably the movie I'm about to say is definitely in my top 5 movies of all time, period. Sports, drama, no matter what it is, top 5 movie of all time for me. I didn't put it in there because I didn't know if it was as sports centric, even though sports play a huge role in this movie. I didn't know if it was enough. Silver Linings Playbook.
No, that's
Bradley
not a
Cooper.
sports movie.
Dude, what?
It's not a sports movie.
It's predicated around his love for the Eagles.
No, it's not a sports movie.
It's a sports movie.
There's sports involved in it, but it's not a sports
It's
movie.
not a sports centric movie, but like it's more sports movie than Uncut Gems is, I think.
No.
Yes.
No.
I totally think so.
I'll have to watch that again. That's a movie I've definitely watched with a lady, but haven't watched alone.
Dude.
But I've seen it. I know what you're saying, but Uncut Gems is fully centered around sports and sports gambling.
This is centered around...
And it's all centered around this very valuable gem, uncut gem that Kevin Garnett thinks has magical powers to let him win basketball games.
Dude. But
obviously that's like
Bradley
a very
Cooper is
dumb-weighted...
a mentally unstable man trying to find love, and the only thing that keeps him tethered to reality is the Philadelphia Eagles.
So you're relating to that movie just a little bit?
There's been some dark times in my life where I've just rewatched Silver Linings Playbook and been like, I am Bradley Cooper.
That's great. So I'm going to run through a lot here. So once you run out, because I have them written down.
So Silver Linings Playbook.
No, we won't go through them quick, but I'm just saying once you like run out, I wrote down a lot because I was just rattling them off. This is when I texted you and was like, this is a brutal one.
Yeah.
We talked about Uncut Gems. That's very up there for me.
Yeah.
A movie that I think is, I won't say criminally underrated, and maybe it's just because the story makes you be like, America.
I know what you're going to say.
Miracle.
It should be in my top 5.
It was very close, just not quite there. I wish that movie, it was obviously like a Disney movie and it was PG.
Not the original. That was a remake. The Disney one was a remake of the original.
Was it?
Dude, the original is
I haven't even seen the original.
Hell, dude. The original goes hard.
I got to watch that. But Miracle, incredible
Great
movie.
Film. Miracle's a good one. I would include Miracle in my honorable mention. Also honorable mention, Bull Durham. I love baseball movies. I think baseball is the sport with the best movies.
I don't want to say this in a bad way. It's definitely the easiest one to not have terrible cuts of the action.
Yes,
It's very difficult it's a lot more difficult to simulate. It's obviously the most difficult to simulate like realist. I think it's most difficult to simulate basketball because most people, you cannot teach an actor to play basketball and look okay.
Yeah.
Like it's impossible.
Mhm.
I think football's a very close second just because of the sheer number of people and making it look realistic.
Yeah.
But if you have a main actor that is good at acting, it's almost impossible that he has, as a child, developed the motor coordination skills to look normal shooting a basketball.
That's a good point.
That's very
Same
rare.
with like throwing a football. Have you ever seen football movies and they're like the
yes.
quarterback steps back and it's like this dude has never touched a football in his life. This is ridiculous.
That's exactly. But even the other parts of football look unrealistic. But the football throwing mechanics are the exact same thing that has everything to do with basketball.
Yeah.
It's why watching what was the movie? I don't even have this one written down. Hustlers with Adam Sandler.
Anthony Edwards was in that. Yeah,
that was actually one of the few movies that the basketball in it was decent.
Yeah.
There's also a movie called The Way Back with Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck.
Yeah. Is that where he's a drunk coach?
Very good movie. That's in my honorable mentions as well.
I've never seen that.
It wasn't quite up there to like crack the top list, but it's up there.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Good basketball scenes and action in it. That's probably I would say basketball might be the one with the least amount of. Well, football's definitely. I don't know. Football and basketball are struggling.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right about baseball. Baseball and boxing are captured better
boxing,
than any
baseball. There's a lot of really good boxing movies. I'm trying to think of another one. Dude, there's so many. Glory Road's up there.
Oh yeah, that's in my honorable mentions.
Glory Road is up there.
Any Given Sunday. That one was very close to cracking my top 5.
Dude, Al Pacino, dude, that is such a good movie. The halftime speech scene.
Yeah, that individual scene makes the movie's good, but there are individual scenes in that movie that are so good. It might be the best individual football scenes. Mm-hmm. But overall, Friday Night Lights got the bump.
Dude, another underrated football. We Are Marshall.
That's just a sad story.
Dude, I cry like a baby anytime I watch that movie. We Are Marshall makes me cry. Honorable mention, definitely not in the top 5, but I did enjoy that movie.
Okay, so I'm going to run through a few here.
Okay.
Because I'm going to struggle to remember what we mentioned. Coach Carter.
Oh, dude,
That's another good one.
That was probably my number 7, so it was relatively close to cracking the top 5.
This is when the list got tough for me.
Yeah,
because the separation between like Moneyball and Coach Carter, like I like Moneyball a slight tiny little notch more, like one little bump up on the treadmill.
Can I hit one of my honorable mentions that I don't know how? White Men Can't Jump.
Never seen it.
Oh,
never seen it.
God, dude.
Never.
Woody
seen it.
Harrelson and
I know.
Wesley Snipes.
Never seen
dude, that is. Oh my God.
It's going on the watch list.
I love that movie. I love the original, not the new one with Jack Harlow. The original White Man Can't Jump, Wesley Snipes, Woody Harrelson is so good.
Another boxing movie here. Southpaw with Jake Gyllenhaal.
I love anything with Jake Gyllenhaal.
That's an incredible movie. Kind of a dark, sad movie, but an incredible movie. That one was up there with me. Reminds me in a way a little bit. It's not the same storyline at all, but a little bit reminds me of The Fighter in a way.
Okay.
So if you enjoyed Southpaw, you'll enjoy The Fighter.
Interesting.
The Fighter's better, but
I've got another boxing one honorable mention, The Cinderella Man.
Never seen it.
Oh, dude, so good. He's like about to lose his house with his like wife and kids. He like has to win this boxing match to keep his home. It's awesome.
Since we're going down boxing movies, Bleed for This.
I have not seen that.
You got to watch Bleed for This with oh my God, Miles Teller. Miles Teller is the main actor in it, based on a true story.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I'll need to watch it.
Incredible movie.
I'll need to watch that.
Also, a lot of dark origin story boxing movies. I will say, Bleed for This is criminally underrated.
I feel like most dudes who get into boxing have a dark lore about them.
Yeah, it's not a sport if things have gone 100% great in your life. You typically get into is getting punched in the head. You don't, because you have to start young. You have to start training for that young to be an elite level fighter. And more than likely, if you're coming from a very stable, good home, you're not starting getting punched in the head at 12.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
yeah.
just not.
No good parent would
No
sign their
offense to
kid
boxers
up.
out
Yeah.
there. You could whip my ass. Incredibly tough sport. But
another one, of course, Eagle-centric, Invincible.
that was
Papali.
on the list. One I'm shocked. That's a great movie. I used to love that movie.
dude.
One of my favorite but dumbest scenes is when they're playing football in the rain.
With
the cars around them.
yeah.
Looking back, I haven't watched that movie in a long time because they're all behind the stupid Disney Plus paywall, which I don't have.
I don't have that either.
But I haven't watched it in a while. But I remember that movie very fondly. I'm afraid if I go back and watch it, that it's going to seem a lot cheesier.
Same.
So
same,
I'm a little
dude.
afraid.
Mhm.
One I'm shocked you haven't brought up. One of the classics, The Sandlot.
Overrated.
Overrated.
I think The Sandlot's overrated.
So what do you think about Field of Dreams?
Field of Dreams is an amazing movie.
So you like Field of Dreams more than The Sandlot?
I do. And also another really good baseball movie with Dennis Quaid, The Rookie.
Oh, I forgot about The
Rookie.
That's an underrated movie. If you haven't seen The Rookie, you need to watch
It's like a 40.
That.
I forget he's like 43.
That one's getting bumped way up my list.
The
now that you
Rookie
mention
is
it.
awesome.
One last one. This is the last one I've written down. I'm not saying this is an incredible movie, but very underrated. Most people have not seen it. Hurricane Season.
I've never even heard of that.
Exactly. It has Lil Wayne in it for a period. What is his name? Forrest Whitaker?
Yeah, Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah, Forrest Whitaker is the head coach of the
basketball?
team. Mm-hmm. It's in Louisiana after Katrina.
Oh, when did it come out?
2009.
Oh, yeah, add that to the list. I've never even heard of that.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's an incredible movie, but a movie that most people have not heard of that's actually pretty solid.
Yeah.
I need to rewatch that one, actually.
Here.
It's on Pluto TV and Tubi. So obviously not a very highly desired film title. It's on Plex Movies and TV and Tubi.
My last honorable mention is going to be Mighty Ducks.
Oh, I haven't seen that
I
in a long time.
loved the Mighty Ducks growing up.
I mean, we also haven't mentioned the greatest sports movie of all time. Definitive High School Musical.
oh my god,
We forgot.
All right.
We forgot
All
to
right.
mention
All right.
the goat of all goats, Zac Efron start.
I was like riding around, like I was doing something with like my girlfriend and her friends the other week, and I'm like driving. And anytime
Does
I'm
she know you've
driving-
never experienced the touch of a woman?
Yeah, she does. She does. Yeah. We were driving around, and she always wants to control the aux when I'm driving, which I don't want to be on my phone when I'm driving, so I let her do that. So all of her friends are like requesting music, and then all of a sudden they just put on the High School Musical soundtrack, and I'm just driving down, I think Eastland in East Nashville, and I'm just like, oh my god. Make it end.
Girls love the High School Musical soundtrack. It still gets the people going.
Dude, I
to
just
this
heard
day.
the basketball's bouncing and I go, oh my God.
Maybe not my first crush. My first crush was Hillary Duff. But
Interesting.
my second crush was Vanessa Hudgens.
You know who my first crush was?
Who?
Dude, Emma Watson is Hermione Granger.
Really?
That was my
Dude.
sexual awakening.
I'm not going to tell the story. Never mind.
Tell the story.
So one of my first like core memories, because I was young.
Yeah.
I guess I was like when Hillary Duff was in her prime. Like
Liz
in
McGuire,
Disney
dude.
Channel.
Yeah.
This was young. And I remember like getting in my dad's, I think it was a truck at the time, and like, or what CRV or whatever it was, and being like, Dad, do you think Hillary Duff is pretty? Or something. And obviously she's like, I don't know, like 13, 14 or whatever
Yeah.
she was. And I was like, I don't know. Not like he didn't know how to answer. Like, and I just remember being like, well, I don't. I don't. at
Gotcha,
all.
Mr. Steve.
Yeah, she's not. Because that's when thinking girls are pretty was gross. I'm like, she's not. I don't think she's pretty at all. So
Mr.
yeah.
Steve just had a long day of work. He's like, son, come
What the
on, dude.
hell is going on, dude? But yeah,
He's
that's
like, I just want to go home.
this might be a time to end this one. Now, have you ever seen this is one that's not my honorable mentions, but have you ever seen Ali with Will Smith?
No.
2001. I watched the first half of that. It's always in like top 10 lists of movies. I didn't like it.
What's
much.
it called?
Ali. It's about
Like
Muhammad
Muhammad Ali?
Yeah.
I didn't even know there's a movie about it.
Yeah. but it's always in like these top lists when you like critically reviewed movies. I watched it. I just couldn't separate that it was Will Smith playing Muhammad Ali.
That would be tough for
Like
me as well.
like there's certain guys that it's hard for me. Like they can still be incredible characters, and I enjoy watching them. Like Will Smith is the best example of it, but he doesn't transform for me.
I agree.
I love Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah.
I love a lot of movies that Will Smith
I Am
has been in.
Legend.
I Am Legend. But it's still Will Smith starring.
Mhm.
Like Jake Gyllenhaal or Christian Bale might be a better example. Or Jake Gyllenhaal. They just transform into whatever role they're in. And I'm not constantly saying, that's Christian Bale.
Yeah.
That's Christian Bale playing Batman. That's Christian Bale in American Psycho.
Mhm.
That's Christian Bale in The Fighter. Like, he's very different people.
Mhm.
So that was what I struggled
The
with.
Machinist.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Oh, dude.
McConaughey is actually another one that I can actually separate it out. Some people say the opposite, but once
I'm the opposite.
Once I saw Dallas Buyers Club, I
loved that movie.
That was incredible. Get a little off track, sports movies, but Trevor, anything else you want to add on episode 273?
I believe that is all, brother. What are we at? About an hour 11.
Yeah, hour
Not
11.
bad.
Once we had
Not bad.
We had a nice little break in between. It'll be about an hour.
Not bad.
For myself, Will Byrum, and my co-host Trevor Hulan, this has been episode 273 of the Door Report, presented by 615 Collectibles.